let's make this wall look like it's missing some bricks. To do that, I'm going to have to use the transparency channel. So if I look at this, I can see that I have something plugged into color, into bump mapping, and into specular. But now I'm going to plug something into transparency. If we go all the way over, that's fully transparent. And all the way to black, it's completely visible. But if I paint this, I'm going to turn specular off. I'm going to turn graffiti off. And I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to name this one specular. And on this one, I'm going to paint black where I want it to be invisible. So if I go like this, okay, and if I click and hold down Shift, I can create straight lines. Okay, great. And now I'm just going to kind of paint a little bit closer like that. Okay, great. Now I can make a bigger brush, holding down the bracket keys. Okay, great. There we go. And now for my specular, since I want the rest of this to be visible, I'm going to paint that solid white. Excellent. That's what my specular map is going to look like, because when I'm creating a specular map, I'm only thinking about where I want it to be visible or not visible. If I wanted it to be kind of visible, I could make it any shade of gray and think of that as a percentage of visibility. In this case, I don't want to see these bricks at all, so that's why I made it like this. So I'm going to save as, and I'm going to go into my project folder, into source images, JPEG, and I'm going to call this, let's see, brick transparency. Okay, great. Now, if I add that to this, I'm going to go here. So if I right click, go to material attributes. Now I can go to transparency. And I can go here, bricks transparency. Great. Now those bricks are gone, okay? But it might not be totally what you expected. Remember that we do have some specularity on these other bricks. And you can see that that specularity makes it so I can still see them. And I think the best way to think about this is like a balloon. Okay, a balloon could be totally clear and transparent. However, its properties on the outside are kind of reflective. So we have to, and pick up specularity. So I feel like to get rid of that completely, I would have to go back to the specular channel. And, oh, I'm sorry, this should not be called specular, this should be called transparency. Okay, but now if I go back to the specular channel, and I'm going to just go to my magic wand, select this, and now on the specular channel, I'm going to go ahead and paint black. And maybe I'll just do this on a separate layer just in case I change my mind about this. Okay, and that looks good for the specular. So I'm going to call this specular bricks. So now this is going to be the specularity. So I'm going to say 0 specularity here, kind of some specularity on the bricks, and then a lot of specularity on the graffiti. So I'll just go save as. And on this one, once again, JPEG, I'm going to call this bricks specular 3. If this is all saved in the correct location, I could save some time. I could just right click, material attribute. Now here under specular color, I could just type in 3 and then hit enter. And there now you can see that it looks like it's completely gone. We might have to paint a little bit more black on the edge here. It looks like there's maybe a little bit of color on there on the transparency channel. But you can really start to see how much power we have here. Remember, this plane that we started with is a single polygon, okay? But we have extra depth information, we have controlled specular information, and we have controlled transparent information. And if you think about this, if we look at what we did, we plugged in all of these different maps here, and the rule of thumb is this: color is kind of the lone wolf here, because color is the only one that the color of it really matters. On all of these other ones, it basically plays off of black and white. Black being maybe 0% of the effect and white being 100% of the effect. So if you you can see like incandescence makes it feel like it's maybe a source of light. So if we wanted maybe this to be kind of lit up more or something, I could make an incandescence map on Photoshop. And if I plug it in here, 100% white would do that. Or I could have a kind of a percentage of gray. And if I had all black, it would be like that. So I could kind of determine where I wanted that to go. Probably doesn't make sense to use much of these other ones, but they're there, okay? Even things like under special effects, glow intensity, that could still take a black and white map. But you can see the importance of understanding this relationship of our materials and our object. Okay, so we have localized control on where we're putting stuff.